What's up, guys? Doing a little review of a large portion of my guitar collection. Not all of it. Some of them are still at my parents' house because I don't have much room left here. But yeah, we're going to bust through them and got some pretty cool stuff, I think. Pretty decent. Today I'm smoking the Dr. Graybo Grand Duke. Smoking McCraney's Black Lace like always. McCraney's needs to sponsor me. I smoke enough of their tobacco. Let's get started. First one I want to show you, the Jackson SL4X. It comes in bubblegum pink and Daphne blue and this orange color, which is way brighter in person than it looks on camera. Got three Duncan design. They're actually humbuckers, but they look like single cools. Got the Floyd Rose. The neck joint on it's pretty tight. You can get all the way up to the 24th fret. It's got a broken string right now. I need to put some new strings on it. But it's a lot like those Charvel Spectrums. That's exactly why I had to have it, because that was a sweet looking guitar. Made in Indonesia, but very quality guitar. Jackson's currently killing it with their prices. It's awesome. Next one, we had this Epiphone Explorer. Haven't done a review on this one yet, but I'm going to soon. It's a cool TV silver finish. You can actually see the wood grain through there. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but Epiphone Custom Shop. Didn't even know that was a thing. Grover tuners, Gibson pickups. Got the cool taps on the volume right here. The bridge and the tailpiece are actually locking. Something Gibson needs to do. I actually prefer this over the base model Gibson Explorers. This is a very killer guitar. I traded my buddy a Les Paul for it, and this thing's sweet. Dave Reed from Tesla actually plays one of these live, so very, very well made, affordable Explorer. It's got more features than a regular Gibson. Sticking with the weird shaped guitars, what we got here is I believe it's a 2015 Kramer Voyager with the lightning bolt paint job. Speaking of Kramer, where are the new guitars? Y'all need to get them out there. Got this guitar, my dad actually bought it for me as a surprise. I saw it on Epiphone's website on clearance. Originally they wanted like $1,100 or $1,200 for it, and they had it marked down all the way to $250. So I was like, dang, that's insane. Dad ended up buying it and surprising me with it. Got Seymour Duncan pickups, an original Floyd Rose, maple neck, fretboard, matching headstock. Just a very solid, well-made guitar. Kramer needs to hurry up and get those Kramers out there. People were looking for them. But a very neat guitar. It's actually pretty light, very light. And some high-end components. Plays good, sounds good. And I'll be doing a review on this one here pretty soon. Alright, what we got here is just a Gretsch Electromatic. I've done a review on this one already. It's in Fairlane Blue. My wife liked it because Courtney Love plays a Gretsch sometimes in some of her videos, and it's a pretty blue. It's very, very pretty. Very affordable guitar. The Filtertron pickups don't sound like anything else. They are their own thing. It's a nice guitar for the money. I enjoy it very much. Got the open back tuners. Again, I did a review on it on the channel, so you can go back and see more in depth how this sounds. I really like the strap buttons. They unscrew, so you can screw your strap on there. It's kind of like a strap lock. Got the Bigsby. The bridge is actually pinned to the top, so you don't have to worry about resetting it. Very neat guitar. Very affordable. Very pretty. I think it looks better without the pick guard. Alright, what we got here is a Les Paul CM. This was actually a Facebook Marketplace purchase. I always like these because, I mean, it's just pretty simple and It's kind of like a Les Paul Jr., but not ugly TV yellow or sunburst. But my one hold up from getting one of these was they came with the robot tuners. Well, this person had posted it on Craigslist and they had replaced it with locking tuners. So the price was ridiculously low. This thing was spotless. It came with a hard shell case, so I had to jump on it. Just one humbucker wraparound tailpiece, volume tone, that's all you need. Very light, thin guitar. And if you can find one of these and get one pretty reasonable, they're definitely worth it. Paid less than $400 for this, and it's a Gibson Les Paul CM minus the robot tuners. We got a metallic purple, which is a limited edition color, road worn telly, made in Mexico. This color's cool. It had a different pick guard. I put a Perloid pick guard on it because it looks better. The aging on it was okay. It wasn't the best I've ever seen, but I don't really have high expectations for a Mexican telly. The color's really pretty. It's really different. My only complaint is the neck, which is aged too, as you can see. The neck is finished with a urethane while the body's finished with a lacquer, and lacquer ages better. Polyurethane, it's not as convincing when you try to age it, unlike lacquer. Lacquer just ages more gracefully, it checks, it wears in better. So I wish they would have painted the neck with a lacquer instead of a poly. But as you can see on the back, got some buckle rash, cool little sticker, and yeah, very solid guitar. A little road worn Mexican telly. Alright, what we got here is a BC Rich Mockingbird masterpiece. Not a terribly expensive guitar, but pretty well made. I played this one a lot when I was younger. I was pretty proud of it. Thought it looked pretty cool. It had binding, a quilt top, and it had pickup covers, so it looked fancy. Has the binding on the headstock. Just a bolt-on neck. Transparent black. Looks very, very good. It's kind of dirty right now, but pretty good guitar. It's a little neck heavy. I dropped it here. I was so disappointed in myself. But nice guitar for the money. They're starting to creep up in price a little bit. People are getting a little more aware that these are actually pretty decent. So yeah, 24 frets. Got another BC Rich Mockingbird masterpiece. My lovely wife actually surprised me with this one. She bought it as a surprise. They don't make this model anymore, but the masterpiece model, they're really pretty solid guitars. This one's got the cloud inlays instead of the block inlays, so it's a little bit newer. The neck joint's a little bit different. Instead of having the plate, it's got the individual screws and it's contoured. The red is beautiful. I'm not a red kind of guy, but this transparent red is nice. I like the cloud inlays. The headstock shape's a little bit different, but I do like the fact that the headstock matches the body. I think that's also something guitar makers should do more of. Very, very nice guitar for the money. What we got here is early 90s Jackson Dinky Professional. It hasn't been played in a while. Transparent red flame maple top. It needs a setup, it needs cleaning. On top of that, yeah, it definitely needs a setup. On top of that, this pickup went out, so I'm gonna have to replace some pickups. This one needs some work. It was getting gigged very heavily and pretty regularly. And when it's cleaned up, it's nice and pretty. And matching headstock again. Got the little cutout here. Nice guitar. I got this off Elderly Music, off their used, for $200. I actually bought it from my friend Tyler, so it's sort of his, but I've been keeping it and playing it, and yeah. What we got here is kind of, it's oily. Jordan's been playing it. That's the greasiest person I've ever met. But it's, the neck, the truss rod plate, the case, and I believe the bridge are all from '68. I think the body might have been replaced at one point. I'm not 100% sure, it's kind of a mutt. But I have the original case for it, and like I said, the neck, serial number back here is 68. The stamp on it's hard to read, but the nut's been replaced with the brass 0 fret nut, which I actually like. Got some old school tuners. The big headstock, the neck profile is very small, so it's hard for me to play with my big hands. Down here it's very narrow, and it's a very cool guitar. I enjoy playing it very much. The frets are very small. It probably needs to be refretted, but I'm leaving it alone. And pretty interesting piece that I'm not sure 100% about, but it's pretty cool. Here we got, it needs strings and setting up, of course, but I feel like this is the most underrated guitar ever made. Bought this practically brand new off Craigslist for like 250 bucks. It's a Dean Palomino in seafoam green, 1 volume, 1 tone, 5-way selector. The 2 and 4 positions on the 5-way selector with these P90s sounds amazing. It's like a real chunky Strat. Very, very cool guitar. One of my favorites, and it's pretty budget. The only problem was after I bought it and started playing it a little, I started getting some hairline cracks in the side. Starting to get some fading on the neck, but it's very heavy, and I'm not too concerned about those cracks. It's probably just in the lacquer, honestly. Very cool guitar, very underrated. I switched out these pickup covers with another guitar that I'll show you later, but I need to get a 3rd cream one. And honestly, a cream pickguard I think would look better. Very underrated piece. What we got here is an 80s Kramer Striker, which is one of the lower end models, but I paid $75 for it. It's plywood body, but it's a pretty green. It actually sounds good. The Floyd Rose 2, where you string through the back of the bridge, was a pretty cool design, I feel like. I wish they would have never done away with it. Since it was Rolex green, I went ahead and got the Rolex logo put on it. So, simple guitar, 1 pickup, 1 volume, Floyd Rose. Very heavy, not much to it. Here we got a 1993 Gibson SG in Pelham Blue. My wife pinstriped it. It came with this pick guard. Saw this hanging on the Guitar Center wall. My buddy at Guitar Center, Ciani, said, hey, you'll want to check this out. Usually don't go for SGs, but I saw this one, the Pelham Blue with the Bigsby, and the headstock's been broken off, but it's been repaired. I mean, you can still see it, but it was repaired good. It stays in tune, plays good. These pickups, I'm not sure what they are, but they sound awesome. Lots of fading and wear and tear on this one. This one was well loved. And the Pelham Blue, you can see it's turning green. Very, very cool piece. I couldn't say no for what they wanted for it. Got it pretty cheap, and it came with a case. Very interesting guitar. I wonder who owned it before me. And here we got a BC Rich Gunslinger Retro in the lime green, I guess it would be called. 1 volume. The pot's a little loose. Duncan design, Floyd Rose, reverse headstock, like a proper guitar. BC Rich, please bring back the Gunslingers and do some wild finishes on them. This was the coolest, one of the coolest guitars from back in the day, and sadly this series didn't last long. You can get these pretty cheap. You know, they're usually Chinese or Indonesian, but they play just fine. Haven't had a problem out of it. This is one of 3 gunslingers I own, and I believe I like the other 2 better than this one, but it's still pretty cool. We got the Garbage Pail Kids sticker. So pretty cool. The neck joint on these, pretty sweet. How they carved it out. BC Rich Gunslinger. Okay, the last one in this video. We got a Les Paul Classic Custom. A little story behind this. When I went to get my first Les Paul, I wanted this one right here. Guitar Center didn't have this one in stock. It was a new model. This is 2011, and they didn't have this one, so I settled for a traditional Pro. But I always wanted one of these, and many years later, walked in the Guitar Center, and I seen this hanging in the used section, and I said, well, I gotta get that. I've always wanted a natural Les Paul with the custom style binding, you know, the 5-ply binding, and bound headstock, the split diamond inlay. The only difference between this and a custom is it doesn't have binding on the back, which I don't really care too much about that. Natural finish. It's actually really pretty in person. It's hard to catch on camera. It kind of looks like a gold top. I switched the pickups out. I got a Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates and a reverse wound 59 that actually took out of a Fender Telecaster, and I put those pickups in the Telecaster. But very, very aesthetically pleasing guitar. Block inlays. And Gibson tries to say, you know, putting binding like this on a guitar justifies charging $5,000 for, which is nonsense. When these came out, these were $1,800, and they have the Les Paul custom styling, just no binding on the back, and these were $1,800. Meanwhile, they use that to justify charging $5,000 for a custom. Get you a classic custom, much more affordable, look the same, plays good, much more affordable. So that's it for this video. I have many more guitars that I'll do a part 2, and hopefully I can get them all in part 2. But part 1's over, so if you saw a guitar in there and you want me to review, want me to go more in depth on, let me know in the comments, and till next time.